Hello again, everybody. I'm Ron Fudge in San Francisco with another news brief here on QTV News Online. Well, as expected and in true San Francisco form, the Human Rights Campaign's annual Gala-Dinner drew hundreds of protesters here to the Westin St. Francis Hotel where the event is being held. These protesters, many of them transgender activists, say they are here in full force to show their opposition to the approach taken by HRC officials that does not include the nation's transgender community into a federal bill that would make it illegal for them to be discriminated against in the workplace. Now, naturally, HRC officials disagree with these protesters, and we will hear from HRC officials in a moment. As you might imagine, this controversy is certainly stirring lots of emotion and provoking a groundswell of debate on both sides.
Of sides, it's about saying we move together as one community. We want a united ENDA. HRC has already waffled on the issue a lot, and they claim to be the most prominent national LGBT, organization. So we would love that next time ENDA is being considered in Congress, that they take the lead, push for a unified ENDA, that they do some serious repair, serious outreach to the transgender community nationwide, and that they also work with statewide organizations that are working to pass gender identity protections in their own states, so that way we move together as one nation.
Their definition of compromise and ours is a little different. The issue isn't a black and white issue, it's very gray. And it's not one that you could say, okay, well, if you just did this, it would be over. And I think if the compromise had to be, will HRC oppose Congress on ENDA and the version that went through, that's not something that HRC can do. Like many civil rights movements, it's gradual steps. It's gradual change. So I think that people are always open to compromise and having that dialogue. That's the most important thing, is the conversation. But I'd be curious to hear what they proposed as what that compromise was.
Is this a debate about approach and the differences in the approach that the protesters feel should have been made and what HRC feels has been done?
I think strategy has a big part of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. I think strategy is what's in question here. And I think we've worked more as an incremental approach. And I think that's where our differences are. That's where it's coming to light, is that we should have kept everything inclusive, and we have, but we should have gone for that from the beginning.
So you're pushing forward, despite the protests, to have a good evening and to basically say what message behind tonight's gala dinner.
The message is definitely unity. I mean, that's one of the main points to drive home. We all need to work together. They're our family. Outside, family inside, and family outside as well. So it's very much about unity. Fight. Yeah, families do fight, and I think it wouldn't be a healthy family probably if that didn't happen. Yeah. Gosh knows I have met a family where there was a little bit of conflict.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it's one where It would be erroneous to say that the healing is going to happen immediately, because it won't, and it's going to take time. But I know that everybody here tonight is very interested in making that healing happen. And
Inclusive with transgender.
No. The Human Rights Campaign is transgender equality is part of the organization's mission. It's part of what we do with our workplace project, our religion and faith project, obviously our political legislative work. All involves transgender issues, as well as gay, lesbian, bisexual issues. So we're fully committed to it. And the Employment Non-Discrimination Act will be fully inclusive. We're continuing to work towards that end, that goal. Again, we're all united, both inside the room and outside the room, on what the end goal is, and that is a fully inclusive ENDA.
Absolutely concur with that, and actually I support the demonstration. We need voices inside and outside of organizations that express the urgency of the need and the importance of our lives.
Do you think the protesters' message is getting across or is making an impact, especially in the wake of the mayor of Los Angeles not appearing tonight?
I think that the message of the protesters and the demonstrators is extremely important, and I hope that it is being heard. They're saying that it's time for us to be considered fully human and included now.
But here's what I know. In any struggle for civil rights in this country, there have been occasions when different groups of people have marched down different roads. What is important to our ultimate success is that each of those roads ends in the same place. While I regret the pain and the distance that sometimes comes from taking different paths, I can tell you tonight that I am more sure and more committed than ever that those of us inside this room are going to arrive at the same place as those outside the room. One that ensures that every member of our community, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender, has the same rights as every other American. I've learned that
somebody stand up for God's sake. Stop hurting me. You coward. You coward. Help. You want to get your
You know, we have an HRC dinner every other Saturday night, and it's always different. I love the spirit of San Francisco.
And that's because I believe that the people that protested outside for a while this evening actually have their hearts in the right place. It's just that they don't have the patience. And you know what? You've got to have people pushing that hard from the left or from every side on every issue.